Hello, good evening. Hello, Rachel Mendoza. Good evening, y'all. Thank you for hanging on a Sunday night at the real Shanky underscore triple F. Yo, man, regulars. What's up, brother?
Good evening, brother.
Oh,
Doing
I
good.
remember what I forgot. I remember what I forgot now. My freaking gimmick.
What?
The headphones.
Yeah, your headphones. Yeah.
The
Why
fan
is
is
it
quite loud.
you went live while troubleshooting, and that's pretty much like a common thing right now. So, can
I've experienced everything in
yeah,
PWOG Live, brother. But you know, we have to be formal. We have to remind everyone that this show. I have to welcome everyone formally, sort of. Welcome everyone. Good evening. Great Sunday night that we have here in the Philippines. Sunday morning at Florida in the USA. And man, this is a show about two Philippine wrestlers from Philippine Wrestling Revolution PWR, and we are just stuck in quarantine. But we are not stuck with our creative juices because we are expressing ourselves every single weekend and get as much guests as we can to just entertain the fans, the Revo Nation, and everyone else, man. I don't know. I don't know what else to say, brother.
of course, and we have a former WWE superstar coming on right now, Konnor, the Big Con from the Ascension. So that's a really exciting thing right now. I hope he comes on with a full face paint. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Did
sir.
you hear what I'm saying?
No, can you
There you
please
go. There
repeat
you go.
one? I'm sorry, man. Yeah, we're
Now
genuine here.
I'm just wondering if he's gonna come on with like face paint or something, but like that'll be interesting for me to see.
But
How are you feeling about it right
that would be
now?
an honor, bro. That would be an honor if he does face paint for the live. I'm feeling hyped, bro. I just wrapped up my workout, man. I don't know what else
There
to
you
say,
go.
brother. I actually had you know what? I actually had two workouts this day. I had to jog after 3 months, man. I missed that stuff. You know what's crazy? The rain. I had a hoodie on, but like the rain was like pouring, or it's drizzling the whole time we were jogging for 20 minutes. Then after we
Mm.
jog, literally after we jog, the freaking drizzling stopped. I kid you not. I kid you, like, what the hell? Like, literally,
No,
man.
the
How about
weather
you,
wanted to
brother?
mess with you, brother. The
Yeah,
weather.
it's
I'm
a
doing
rib. It's a
good. I'm
rib.
doing good. I'm also doing my workouts. I'm just doing my the body weight stuff, push ups, sit up, squats. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm just going through by that. People have said I look thinner recently, probably the haircut.
Nah, bro,
I'm gonna say it's
nah.
the haircut.
Do you still
Yeah,
do?
man.
Do you
So
still do? Do you still do the? How would you say that handstand push-up thing?
yeah, well, I can still do it. I don't do it as much right now. I'm just like, it's really hard to get motivated to do workouts right now, being stuck at home. But right, I'm doing the minimum. I'm keeping my diet okay, just making sure that I have at least one non-meat based meal per day, so to speak, just to keep that part vegan life going. But we're doing good. We're doing okay. We're just trying to keep sane right now, and we don't know what's gonna happen after June 15th. Like we're already in talks again to see if we're going back to quarantine, like a stronger form of quarantine.
The
So
ACQ, right? The extreme community quarantine. I don't
yeah,
know,
yeah.
brother, but that's for a different time, brother. But right now, we are heading all the way to the wasteland as we ascend ourselves. As actually, the main man himself, big underscore con one, has actually joined the program. I just want to say a quick hello to underscore Ron WWE and Trexus for joining the hashtag PWOG Live tonight. But ladies and gentlemen, man, without further ado, amigo,
I'm
uh,
I'm gonna head out.
yeah,
I'm
brother.
gonna head out. I'm gonna moderate. I'll let you guys do your thing, and I'll see you later for Reflection Sunday, brother. See ya.
Thank you for reminding me. We got you. All right, I'll see you.
All
Thank you,
right, see
brother.
ya, man.
Thank you. Alrighty. We will put, there you go, the main man himself. How do we, man, I forgot how to do this because last week mine wasn't there. Okay, there we go. I'm adding him to the program. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, multiple time heavyweight champion in the indie circuit and the one half of the longest reigning NXT tag team champions, 343 days. And man, one of the OGs, if you will, in the tag team elimination chamber match back in 2015. Please welcome no other than Konnor or Ryan Parmeter. Sir, a good morning to you.
Yeah, good evening to you, I think, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is correct.
Yeah, the time frame there, I'm telling you, is crazy. I was kind of shocked with the difference here. So, how are you doing? You good? You holding up okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, I was talking about earlier 5 minutes before this program. I was rushing everything because I was like cramming the workout. Like I have to eat. I have to get the protein shake. I have to fix everything, the lighting, and they're like, oh, this is real life. Real life, yo. It's like always on the go.
Yeah.
Always on the go, sir. I would rather be busy than doing nothing. But yes, sir. Actually, thank you for asking. Actually, just like anyone we encounter in during this pandemic, may we ask, Sir Ryan, how are you during this pandemic, and what have been keeping you busy?
Yeah, well, first off, I feel you, man. I'm on the go, 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 just like you. I'm actually sitting right outside my gym, waiting to go in after this to get with my trainer. So things are going really good. Been very busy. Good problems to have. Learned how to day trade, which is kind of weird. That's kind of boring, but it's kind of neat to kind of figure out like how to make some sort of income while you're doing or going through all of this, right? And it's kind of neat to think outside the bubble, but things are about to change drastically for Victor and I, which is going to be pretty awesome. I won't go into too much detail because the excitement's it's really good, and we can't wait, man.
Absolutely. And just like us here in the Philippines, your fans, your supporters here in the Philippines, your Filipino supporters are excited as well. And I actually mentioned that. So the gyms are open there in America now. Man, we envy you. We envy you so much. How is it there, sir, if we may ask?
I mean, listen, we're still keeping the whole social distancing thing, and it's still limited, and you got to be careful, obviously, and you got to respect everybody's, their feelings and things like that, which is, it's cool. Every now and then you see somebody sneeze, the whole damn room looks at them. They're like, "Wait a second, yeah." But
The
no,
ultimate
it's
rib.
good. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's good though. Like it's nice to get out to see friends and to see people that you're used to seeing and socializing with and things like that. So it's healthy. You know what I mean? I think it's healthy to an extent. Just making sure that you keep to the CDC guidelines.
Ah, oh man, oh man. But still, envy. You guys have the gym. I work out in the hallway. I live in a condo. I work out in the hallway, man. A different kind of discipline. I can't drop the weights. Everyone's gonna wake up. It's so
But
hard.
you're getting it in.
Yes,
But
sir.
you're getting it in. That's all that matters.
Man, no excuses. No excuses, sir. No
That's
excuses.
right.
All right. Shifting gears a bit. Let's go right into the questions, if you don't mind, sir. If you're ready.
Yeah, go ahead. Shoot.
Alrighty, sir. Okay, sir. Question number one for one Ryan Parmeter. You mentioned in an interview that Dusty Rhodes was the visionary of the stable, the Ascension, in terms of the group
Yep.
having a vampire vibe. How much of the
Yeah.
entrance and the movements were his influence, and how much of the overall were his influence? How much of the overall package was from your respective visions? You and one Thomas Latimer or Kenneth Cameron.
Yeah. Dream saw the whole vampire deal. I mean, honestly, the originator to it all was Ricardo Rodriguez. He was the one that came up with it, and it's very important that I like to make sure that the I guess wrestling world is aware of that,
Yes, sir.
because he was the visionary of the way it started, which it just kind of progressed as time went on. And Dream saw, I guess at the time, True Blood was a very big ongoing show, which was something I never really paid attention to, but that's what he saw. He saw the vision of True Blood, and then of course, like we all selectively started throwing ideas together, and then I came up with the eyes, and they came up with the concept of Tom, having the light in his hand and stuff like that, which was a really cool concept. And as time went on, it just kind of gradually progressed into what it was, when it came to that darker image.
And like, how
But
was
Dream was he was a fan. Dream, that was Dream's baby.
yes, sir. Yes, and actually, you actually mentioned on that same interview how he got pissed because from vampires it became Egyptians and what more and more. But we're not getting into that. Well, at least not yet. But yes, sir. I was actually wondering, if I remember correctly, it was in a green screen, and no matter how obvious it was in a green screen, the promos were still, how would you say, badass, man. It's really badass.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about the eyes. So I'm guessing those were contacts. How is it wrestling in
Um,
contacts? If you know.
yeah. At first, it's a little awkward. You don't know, kind of. I don't know. It just takes some getting used to. But the concept was really cool. The gentleman that did all of our stuff as far as like the backdrops and things like that, and honestly, he's even the one that kind of gave me the light to help light my eyes up was Brandon. He was just he was another key factor into the whole success of what this thing became. When it came to that whole gothic feel. It just worked, you know. But the eyes, you know, you get used to them. It's funny because when the light hits them, if the light hits it right, you just know because it's just like, you know, it's just like looking into a light basically, which is technically what you're doing. So, but you know, you get used to that stuff. It's just something that you just, you know, become acclimated with.
All right, that's awesome. But like, are there any? Well, if we may ask, are there any horror stories with the contacts way back when you were wrestling? Because I remember
Um,
like at one point Tyson Tomko, I think on a Heat or a Raw, I think his contacts were down. And I don't know how that feels, man. How about you, sir?
Yeah, I guess maybe I was lucky when it came to that. I didn't have that issue. I do wear normal contacts though, so now I've have instances where that's happened where they've fallen out, and I'm just kind of like, oh, and I'm trying to like measure everything, and I'm just way off. You know, guys are blurry in one eye, and then you know you're seeing them in partially, and it's just kind of like, oh god, like how far is this? Do I duck? Do I? Oh no. So but it happens, and that's just kind of part of the game. And I think anybody out there that even wears contacts, just in general life, knows that feeling. Especially if you're driving, that's like the worst thing ever.
Oh man, and it's dangerous too. If like one
It
contact
ain't
is out,
safe.
oh my goodness gracious. So like I can imagine like but for wrestling, they're like, oh let's do this Japan style. I don't know, man. Just like let's feel it out. I don't know what's happening. Language barrier.
Yeah,
Like it's in some extent. But all right,
yeah,
thank
yeah.
you for sharing that, Mr. Ryan. All right, let's get into one fan question. Okay, so from @_Ron WWE, who is your role model in today's wrestling world?
Hmm. Well, I'll tell you who I'm really, idolize right now, and it's the Rock and Roll Express, and the biggest reason why I've always loved those guys. We've sat down and we've talked before, but I think the biggest reason why I love them so much right now is the fact that they're still going out there and they're still teaching this younger generation all about wrestling and the psychology and the way things are, and they can still go, which is really cool, right? Like you see guys like that, and you see guys like Billy Gunn, who's absolutely awesome, and he's such an athlete, and he still is able to go out there and give back to this younger generation. And I think that's really important. So when I look at guys like that, I really admire that. And I'm kind of at that point too in my career where I'm like right in the middle of that, probably more so on the older end, but it's neat to see guys like that go out there and give back, and still love this business and teach this younger generation. And I think that's what Vic and I, that's like what we want to do. And of course, like we want to leave our legacy, especially me for my son. But like it's just one of those things that you really appreciate, especially getting older.
Absolutely, absolutely. And is it safe to say like they're your current dream match that you want to happen because it could still happen? The Ascension, or I don't know what's the name now of your new tag team with
Yeah,
Victor, but against the Rock and
yeah.
Roll Express because it could happen, man. I don't
It
know.
very well, it very well could happen. I've actually, I've put that out there before, so I think it'd be a really good time, So, we'll see what happens. I hope so. And there's a lot of guys, there's a lot of tag teams out there that we'd love to work with right now too. Big shout out to the Briscoes. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, man, you got to really respect that too. Those two boys are some badass mofos. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, I think those are two of the teams that we'd love to, to talk, to tussle with, and it's just, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what's going on.
Oh, we're gonna stay glued for sure. We're gonna stay glued for sure, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
Excited for that too. But I mean, like the version of the Ascension just unleash. It's like the old school NXT version of the Ascension. That's gonna be like, oh man, you're excited to see this.
yeah,
Y'all can go. Y'all can
yeah.
go. We're just saying. We're just saying. Reminding people in 2020, y'all can go. Oh man. All right. Let's transition to one of the first NXT experience that you had, sir. So if you can share, can you please share with us your best memory being an NXT quote unquote rookie for Alberto Del Rio and Vladimir Kozlov?
Yeah, so I think, well, number one, it was cool having them both as your pros. Um, Two really good workers, you know what I mean, in their own aspects. I think probably the coolest moment out of both those two seasons, I'm going to have to go with, I'm going to say it was when me and Kozlov had to do the dance off. And the reason for that um, was because I looked at Kozlov and we didn't even know. We had no idea what was going to happen. That was one of those things where they didn't tell us what was going on. We originally thought we had a match, and then when we get out there in the ring, they literally said, by the way, I think Stryker came, as Matt Stryker, who came out and said, we're going to have a dance off. And I looked at Kozlov and I said, oh shit, I don't know how to dance. And he goes, do not worry. I know how to dance. Follow me. I'm a professional dancer. And I was like, oh man. And so, he just led the way and I just followed. And it was just like, it came out of nowhere. And I was like, oh man. But it was definitely one of those moments that you never forget about because it was just unexpected.
Oh man, props to that Kozlov impression. That's amazing, man. I don't know.
Oh, I love him.
I've never met him, but like he's like
Oh,
the way he presents himself, he's like a
yeah.
silent badass, or like even like what comes into
Yep.
my head right now, Colossus, the Deadpool version.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah,
he's like
yeah.
that, man. I don't know.
I actually think he could give Colossus a run for his money.
Absolutely, yeah, man. Especially how he looks like now. My goodness gracious, dude, that's
Yeah.
a
He looks
beast.
great, right?
He's a beast. He's a
Yeah.
beast doing
Yeah,
movies right
man.
now. Oh my goodness. Alrighty, thank you for sharing that story. Let's transition back to some fan questions.
Okay.
All right, let's ask at the real Shanky _. How you felt after working with Breezango in the Fashion Files?
Oh man, that was I mean, if you were to even ask Victor, that was probably one of our favorite times ever. Just number one, we were being utilized more. Number two, it was a different direction from what we were used to doing, and it just happened to be doing so well. Um, and me personally, like we knew them really well too, and so anytime you get to work with your friends, like it's always going to be amazing. So and I've known. Brizango, those guys for so long, and especially Johnny Curtis. There's a big backstory with us. But it was just fun. It was so much fun, and it was so different. And it was one of those things that we did where we honestly didn't think it was going to go well at all. When we looked at it, we were always joking about it, saying this is the one that's going to sink the ship. And it ended up being really good, and it was just it was catchy. And I think too, the writers were really invested into that too, which was another thing that made it so fun. And I think because you could see that we were having fun, I think the fans were having fun, and I think that's what's the most important aspect of all of this.
Absolutely. That's like somewhat, for lack of a better term, that's the community service or the way we give back as pro wrestlers to the fans, man. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, I actually saw how you were enjoying while you guys were doing it. Like from a viewer standpoint, it looks like man, this is crazy. They still look the same, but they get to be themselves on live television. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Man. Like I hope your version of the Fashion Files version of yourselves had an action figure. It's a deserved one. Honestly, it deserved one. Maybe even a DLC pack on the video games. I don't know. Just putting it out.
I mean, you never say no to money,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Money in the miles. Money in the miles.
There you go.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you for that answer, sir. Um, Transitioning to one of our questions. Can you take us back to the time the infamous "Yeah" chant was invented and how you
Oh,
rode with it despite being a heel tag team?
yeah, that man, that was a magical night for me, and I think for Vic too, because we I can't remember what their tag team was at the time, but it was Camacho at that time and
Unico, I think.
uh, Hunico. Yeah, yeah. And so I remember, I had Camacho in the corner, and I was kicking him, and I was notorious for saying "yeah" every time I kicked. But it was the oddest thing because when I did it, there was about two or three people that started chanting it, and then I was like, those bastards are mimicking me. Like, why are they making fun of me? And so I'm kicking, then I stop and I look over at them, and then they stopped, and I go, wait a second, we might be onto something here. And then so I kicked again, and then they said it again, and I go, wait a minute. And literally, if you go back and watch that footage, you'll see that that's what happened. And then I just started rolling with it, and then it just turned into its own thing. And it was all because it had nothing to do with us. It was literally all because of the fans. And I think that all plays back to the intimacy of NXT and the fans and the way that it was back then. I'm not sure how it is now, but back then, it was just it was more intimate, and you could be more part with the fans, and I think that's really important too. So it had nothing to do with us. It was all them.
I see. I see. And but like, would it be safe to say that it's because of that match, because of that moment, that led you to become one of the longest reigning NXT Tag Team
Yep.
Champions? 343 days, man.
Yeah, yeah. It was. I think a lot of it was because of that. Because the deal is like in this business, if the fans don't accept you or if the fans aren't reacting to you, you're not going to go nowhere. That's just the bottom line. You've got to get some sort of a reaction. So a lot of that, I give my love and my credit to the NXT fans, and I think after that started happening, Hunter and Hunter really bought into it, and it just kind of turned into its own like little thing. You know what I mean? And so a lot of that just turned out to be the monster that it became.
Oh man, that's awesome. You know what's crazy about that moment though? Because it lasted for the whole year. You guys were doing that, right? If I'm not mistaken. How
Yeah.
come it never made it on a shirt? If Daniel Bryan's yes made it on a shirt, why didn't the Ya made it in the shirt, right? You know what I'm saying?
Man, we're not in charge of any of that stuff, man. Come on.
That's true. That's true. But I'm just saying, like, and if any of the NXT guys, if you get to see this, like, what happened to that? Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Money lost, baby. Money lost.
Right?
You
Right.
know, maybe we could make a T-shirt of it. Who knows?
Pro wrestling tees. Pro wrestling tees. We're onto something here.
It's there.
Oh my God! All right, all right. Everyone, check that out. Goodness gracious! All right, transitioning to another question that we have for you, Sir Konnor. Um, can you share us a favorite memory of tagging with the following: Kenneth Cameron or Thomas Latimer right now in the NWA, and Victor, of course.
Well, as far as Victor goes, I mean, I still tag with Victor, so I'm just continuing. I think we're just going to continue to make more memories, and we got a lot of great things, soon in the fold that are going to happen. So I think there's just going to be better memories, I would imagine. With Kenneth Cameron, like, with Ken, I was always, we always hung out and stuff, we were really, really close at first. I think, I'm going to tell you, I think probably when I think of Tom, I think the best memory I have is the first time I ever met him, and it was when we had to go to Pittsburgh to do our blood work and things like that. And I'll never forget coming down the escalator, seeing him for the first time, and how he was so quiet, and he thought it was just kind of weird that because I was so nice that he didn't understand Americans, because he thought that it was a little shady that people are so nice. It's like, what are they up to?
All right.
And so I'm like, dude, I never thought about it like that. But when I always think of Tom, man, I just always, I just don't. I can't. I don't have one good memory with him. And the same with Vic. I can't. I think winning the belts with Vic was the biggest thing because I think I'm pretty sure I was probably tearing up, because we had accomplished so much together. And with Tom, I mean, man, we grinded too. So, but I'm going to say with Tom, it was definitely the first time I met him, and that whole conversation that we had about the American people, which I thought was kind of interesting. And he's such a great guy. And with Vic, I mean, we just continue, So I can't. I think I'm just going to say that when we won the belts that night, it was like a big thing where we were like, damn, finally we did it. Like we finally did it. We busted our ass, and here we are.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Thank you for sharing that. And actually, speaking of the version of the Ascension with one Rick Victor, if you will, what was the meaning behind your post as the Ascension? That I think that was a 2019 version. Whenever you did this, is it
Yeah.
like it's like a Raven thing, or like Raven does it like this? But like
So the ongoing rib, the boys would say that when I did that would be the big L for the loss.
Oh,
On the main roster.
that's you popping them. That's you popping the locker room, huh?
There was a little bit to that. Also, if you go back and you look at Mike Knox had that pose as well, and Mike Knox he's my big brother. So I've always, I kind of took it from him. It was just one of those things. We always, when we were in Deep South together, we always hung out together. We lived together. And we're like family, man. Like, I love him to death. So that was always kind of what it really was my big shout out to my big brother. That's what it really was, So, but as time went on the main roster, you're sitting there and, you're booked to lose all the time. It's like, why not? It's just the big L for the loss.
But it's funny with that because it's a tribute story, yet it's one for the boys. That's crazy.
Yeah, you gotta love the boys.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's crazy, man. But like, actually, funny you should mention a Mike Knox. So, if you could be put in a situation, or like you are given the freedom to have one match with one Mike Knox, what would be the type of match you would have, and in which promotion, if you may ask?
Wow, that's a good question because I've never ever in my life thought about that one. I would let him direct that one. I would let him run that. Whatever he would want to do, I'd be like, yes, sir, whatever you want. It's just hard to say. As far as like the company that we would work for, I think we do it anywhere. You know what I mean? It would be for any company. But the question would be, would he want to do it?
But he's still active, right? If I'm not mistaken.
He's about to be a married man, my man. Yeah, he's about to lock it down.
But never say never, right? In wrestling, never say never. Everyone came back.
Never.
Shawn Michaels did.
Oh man, Mike can go. He could do a standing moonsault and no one knew about it at 300 plus pounds.
What? Yeah, I haven't seen that, but like how he made the running crossbody over, that's crazy, man. Before Bray Wyatt ever did it, oh my goodness gracious.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's a beast.
I'm excited to see you guys. It's the old school. It's like a Bather versus a Bam Bam. I'm not, like the monsters, if you will, or like that kind of feel, like a Godzilla, King Kong. So I don't know. That'll be crazy to see. That'll be crazy to see. All right, thank you for that answer, sir. Moving on to another fan question. Okay, let's have this one because we had him yesterday as our guest from @Pumi.setupth. Ask him if he's interested to wrestle in Thailand someday.
Never thought about that either. I think what I personally feel is, when you get into this business, it's always fun to travel and see other cultures and meet new people. So I would never turn it down, and I know Vic would never turn it down either, so anything's possible. I think that's the beauty of professional wrestling is that when you do get to travel, you get to see all these cultures and all this food. Oh man, all this different type of food, right? Like there's some good stuff out there. And I would never turn that down. I would definitely be interested, and I know Vic would too.
So if you would make the way all the way to Southeast Asia to do the Thailand show, would you happen to, drop by the Philippines for some PWR Action, if ever. I don't know. I don't know. Quick side trip. It's not too far. I think a 4 hour plane ride.
Oh yeah.
Would you? Would you
Well,
be?
well, yeah. I would never say never. I'm always supporting the boys.
That's all right. Thank you, sir. we had this on video right now. Right, I'm gonna send it to the to the higher ups. Thank you for that, sir.
Awesome.
All right, man. Thank you for sharing those. Okay, well, we have one more. Okay, I have one more. Well, not really one more. If I could be a sponge and just sit in your learning tree for 1 second, or
Yeah.
just like any tag team wrestlers who are listening to this podcast or watching this podcast, not podcast, watching this live, IG live right now, or even on the replay. Um, Best advice for tag team wrestlers, especially for those who came from a singles into a tag team.
Yeah. Yeah. It's make the hot tag.
Oh my God.
Make the tag hot. Tell a story. Know the tag rules. I was just watching a little bit of some AEW clips, and I saw the Revolt, who I absolutely love, and they, God forbid, like those boys are textbook material. You know what I mean? Like they know exactly what they're doing, and I think that's the biggest thing that's missing in tag team wrestling is actually making the tag mean something, and telling the story for the hot tag.
Oh man. Yeah, like it's yeah, you're right. It's like a common thing, a basic thing, it's a classic thing, but no one ever, put emphasis to that. Keep it simple
Yeah.
with the storytelling. Thank you. Thank you for that, sir.
Yeah.
That was like
Absolutely.
that was a sponge moment. Okay, blow that away now. And
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
thank you for that answer. All right, so sir, as we wind down a bit, because you are about to go to your workout, as you were able to mention earlier, we have to proceed with this segment. It's called the Shoot Your Shot segment, where we show in photos from the magic of iPhone. It's gonna pop up at my back.
Okay.
And we're just gonna tell a shoot story of whatever memory you remember from those photos. So whenever you're ready,
Oh, geez.
let me know.
I got to remember stuff? Okay.
Improv, we got this. Improv. Okay, sir. But
Piece of cake.
quick disclaimer, because for the past 2 weeks, it worked. This system worked. But 3 weeks prior to that, oh man, I think PJ Black, Darren Young thought it was a rip because it crashed, man. IG Live, Instagram, I'm calling you out. I'm just letting you know. We're about to do the Shoot Your Shot segment. 2 weeks in a row it worked. 3 weeks ago, Brian Pillman Jr., everyone who experienced it, maybe they thought it was a rip because it was crashing. So quick disclaimer, sir.
Oh, man.
If it crashed, if you're still available, I'm going to make a new live and please join the live again. That's just quick a
You
disclaimer.
got it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate that one. Oh, I just had to put it out there, man. Instagram, please. Quick, real quick. Okay, let's proceed. So shoot
Let's do
your
it.
shot on this photo.
Oh. Oh, man. Man, that was a great day. And to this day, it's funny. It's I talked to Devon. I showed him that, and I'm pretty sure he actually replied to that. Here I am at, I don't know, 18 years old, I think maybe, and I was just so excited because it's still to this day I always look up to Devon. I think he's an incredible human being. So it's funny when you see that because I was just starting wrestling, and then some years later, all of a sudden he's my producer. And I'm in the ring with him, and I'm wrestling with him, and then we're having fun about it. And I think there was a moment where they do the one, and he would come off the top rope, and I purposely would lift my my whatever that thing was that I had to have on the front. I would just lift it up and be like, "Come on!"
Oh, that thing, like the one you were
Yeah, the
wearing.
flag,
Oh my
the
god.
flag, yeah, just to mess with him, So it's kind of funny how that all plays back,
Full circle.
I love him.
Full circle. Oh my
Love
goodness.
him.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, quick question though. Like, did you ever consider going? Well, they didn't have the wrestling school before, but like, if you could share, what was your favorite Dudley Boys match, and why?
I mean, you got to go the first TLC, right? I mean, that was groundbreaking. You know what I mean? And I think that's what set the standards for tag team wrestling with those three tag teams. It was just amazing. So, yeah, that would without a doubt, hands down, be my favorite match they've ever had because it was groundbreaking.
Absolutely, absolutely. And tables and ladders and chairs were incorporated ever since from that day on. Moving forward.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, thank you for sharing that, Sir Ryan. Okay, moving on to the next photo. Man, this is Throwback Sunday. There's no such thing, but this is Throwback Sunday. How about this one, sir?
Yeah, Nelson. That was over in Korea. We were doing an American tour, and it was for the military bases out there. And I actually wrestled, which was nothing compared to Dale Wilkes. But I wrestled as the Patriot out there, and that's actually who I worked for 2 weeks. Was Big Vis, and so God, he was just such a great guy. I was so excited but so scared to work him, and we built such a great relationship. It just when I look at that picture, I just think how much, one, I miss him, and two, he was such a good human being. Like he really was, and I'll never forget him as long as I live, just because of that. Like I love him to death.
Is he also like the type of person, because like you were able to mention in an interview that you like keeping that mystique, or like just like
That's where I got the eyes.
oh, okay, that
Yeah, so when I went to the main roster, that was exactly what I did. The same contact lenses. Everything I do has a purpose usually. It's never, you know what I mean? There's usually something behind why I do something, and that was why I had those contacts in. Was because of Big Vis. First time I saw him when I had to work him, he's 6'9", and he looked like a shoot 6'9". Like he's big, and he came walking into the room one night, and he's like, "Hey, little buddy," and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And he had his contacts and everything. I was terrified. He's a terrifying human being, but when you look at him, but when you get to know him and talk to him, God, he's such a great dude.
absolutely. And I think he was able to tour here once in the Philippines. It sucks that I think 10 years old at the time, and my mom wouldn't allow me to go by myself, and I'm sure the Coliseum wouldn't allow me to go. But like he was doing I think the 500-pound love machine gimmick, and I was just like, I was pissed because I loved him when he came back with Gangrel back in 2003 or 4,
Yeah.
and man,
Yeah.
as a viewer, so from the viewer standpoint, I'm sure it was awesome, man. All right, thank you.
Yeah,
you
it was.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, moving on to this next photo.
Oh man, that's my favorite action figure. Yeah, when I saw that, I thought the detail was amazing. Still to this day, like when I look at, because Vic has one also, and when I look at the detail on them, I just think, man, they did an amazing job with that. It's my favorite. It really is. I have like a whole box full of them. Like I purposely keep those for my son, and if he has friends and things like that, like it's by far my favorite one out of the 3 that we have.
That's crazy.
But when I saw that, though, I almost cried because when you see something like that, it's indescribable, especially the detail of it. It's just like, man, it looks so good. They actually took the time to, be so intricate with every little detail down to the tattoos.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like you were able to mention before, everything has a meaning most of the time. What was the meaning of
Yep.
this specific face paint? Although it's not seen really from this point of view right now, the face paint on this
Well,
action figure.
Yeah, so the generalization was still the Eye of Ra when I did that, but I needed to do something with because I think at the time we were doing like a black and red, and I think internally I felt very dark inside, so I used a lot of black at that point, just because like there just wasn't a lot of, I guess, light inside of me at that time. I was just very angry, and so I started like distinguishing certain colors and started to use certain things. You'll see there was a point too also where I just started like black, like just putting face paint on like this. I was just getting more frustrated. So as time goes on, basically what you're going to see is you're going to see the frustration that I had with my face paint through my action figures too, which is kind of really cool when you think about it.
Absolutely. And like, were you self-taught, or were you always the artistic kind before you were wrestling? Or
No, Vic Vic was the paint master. He was the man when it came to that. Matter of fact, Dustin Rhodes gave him that nickname, the Paint Master. Me, I wasn't really detailed with that kind of stuff. but Vic was so good at it that I kind of idolized it, because I just don't have a creative hand. But as time went on, you just start learning new designs and different colors with different schemes and things like that. And I think, especially when it comes to artistic stuff, I think a lot of us, and generally everybody, when we draw stuff or if there's certain colors that we like or that we're drawn to, it kind of tells us, how we feel inside or, something, of that nature.
Man, absolutely. I never thought it was because of that, because of something you're feeling or like something emotionally
Yep,
inclined. I've always thought it's just like you
absolutely.
have to look like a badass, like, well, of course, part of it, but like, I never thought it would be
Yeah.
that sentimental, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think any worker, as you probably would know, is that everything that we do has a meaning, whether it's a design or a logo or a color scheme or anything like that.
Man, thank you. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, sir. We're down to the last two photos. Shoot your shot on this next photo. Oh, we were able to
Oh,
touch on this earlier, but like, please, from this
yeah,
moment at least.
yeah. Man, that was man. First off, I had a lot of hair there.
I've always thought it
Tom
was a
was clean
choice.
shaven there.
I've always thought it was a choice.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. For some of us, it might not be so much. Um, but man, that was when I look at that photo, I think of we had the world by the balls. Like there was so much. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but we literally were just. We were literally two sets of badasses right there. You know what I mean? When I see that, that was the evolution of what the Ascension was becoming. So when I look at that, that's what I see. I just see the evolution, the beginnings of what the Ascension was.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you. And of course, from one Ascension to this version, and I would say the last version, at least the WWE version of the Ascension. What's your shoot story on this photo?
Ah, God, I was so damn fat there. I was
Trust me.
every bit of 340. When I look at my belly just hanging over, I'm like, oh man, this is insane. Um, but that's when I. This is who we are when it comes to what's inside of us. Like, we really can be funny guys. Like, we really love to open up and give ourselves. I mean, look at these poses we're doing. They didn't tell us to do that. That was just us having fun, and God, that beard was horrendous on me. those chops,
But like,
those chops were just.
was it a tribute to like because you were using the orc? How would you say GIF? But like, was that because of it? A tribute to the orc, or like?
No. Actually, I wanted to think of something different at the time, and I was like, you know what? What no one has here is mutton chops, big mutton chops. And so I was like, that's what I wanted to roll with. And then eventually I was like, man, you know what? As they're getting bigger, I was like, man, Andre the Giant, man, had like the nastiest mutton chops. And now how cool is that? Like, Andre's the man. So, I just was letting them grow and letting them grow and grow. And then eventually, of course, I was like, I think this is becoming a little too much. So I was just like, wah.
That's crazy. And at least it made the fashion files, and this version, it's still up on YouTube. If you killed it, by the way, sir. I don't know if someone ever
Thank
you
you.
killed the Fandango version of Konnor, if you will. So that's
Oh,
crazy. That's crazy. That high
he helped
kick,
me a little bit.
that high kick. It's like
Yeah,
the tights held on. The tights held on. That's what he said on the video, right?
that was a little rough.
Oh my god, I can only
you
imagine.
know, Kurt, he's like a lean 230, 220, looks amazing. And then you put some fat ass in those things. Those things were stretching out. They were holding tight, man. It was questionable.
You're a risk taker. You're a risk taker for doing that jumping kick. It's crazy. It shows athleticism too for a big man. Man, Sir Konnor, Sir Ryan Parmeter, thank you for joining the Shoot Your Shot segment. That concludes the Shoot Your Shot segment, actually. That was crazy. And man, just before I forget, I don't know if you remember this, another trip to memory lane, because it was my
Oh
first.
dear.
It was my first time in America, 2015 December. I believe Raw, or I think just WWE in general, was in California. Would you happen to remember if you drove by in California in December of 2015, around 26 or 27, and you had a pickup truck on, and you remember someone passing by, you just stopped? No.
No.
No. And that's
I'm
what I
sorry.
expected. Because,
I'm gonna be honest.
but you were in California at the time, right? December 2015.
Okay. I don't know. I don't. Everything like you're just always on the go, so it's
Yeah.
hard to remember a lot of stuff. Did I do something bad?
No, sir. No, sir. You know why I brought up that story? It's because of the fact that where you're in the Philippines and you start crossing, not burying the country, but like if you start crossing here, they don't really care for you, even though your priority to cross. But in America, it was my
Oh.
first time experiencing someone stopping for me, even though it's way far ahead. And I'm like, yo, he stopped. And I look at the dude and I'm like, I think that's Konnor. I think that's Konnor. It was like in my head. I actually tweeted it after, like, I think that's Konnor. What? Does he live here? Or like the place where I'm staying? And I'm like, well, that's the reason I shared that story. Yeah, I don't know. At least I got to confirm it. You know, that's the closure for me. All these years, 5 years later.
Well, if you're happy, I'm happy. Yeah, I hope I didn't do anything wrong.
No, sir. You actually stopped for me, and I was like, yo, he cared. I was like, I think that's Konnor.
Yeah.
That's right in my head. Like,
Of
that's
course I
Konnor.
care, man.
I was
Yeah.
like, but yeah, sir. That was awesome. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Man, before we let you go, as we wrap this up, can you please promote your socials, where people can find you right now? Please do, sir. Floor is yours.
Yeah, oh, thank you. Yeah, so feel free to. So we do have a couple things coming out. We got one T-shirt already at ProWrestlingTees.com. Check out my. I've got obviously the links in my bio. Check me out at big_con1. Look for the verification, please. That's the way to tell, obviously. And yeah, stay tuned. There's a lot of great things that are going to happen right around mid-July, possibly beginning of August. Some big things. So not just some small things. So this is going to be exciting. We're excited to get back to what we're doing, and I think most importantly, we're just excited to be healthy. And I hope everybody else stays healthy that's out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're a bit clingy here, but before we let you go, if there's one match people can check out that can define your career as a professional wrestler, what match would it be?
Oh, Jesus. Man, good God.
We gotta go for
Good
that.
God.
Shooting for the stars question, man.
Good. Oh, man. It's like 11 a.m. here.
No, it's a good pre-workout. I tell you, on your toes, on your toes.
Um, you know, I would say if it came down to just me, I would say definitely check out me and William versus William Regal in Deep South. I don't know how hard it is to find those archives or not because they really are archives. And I think as far as like the Ascension goes, man, just with Vic and I, like I love the Too Cool match. That was probably one of my favorite matches that we had. Just I would say check that out, or even check out probably honestly our favorite one was Kenta and Finn Balor versus us. Like we had a blast with those guys. So I would definitely say check those out. That really defined who we were, especially as professionals.
Absolutely. And man, we're just excited for everything that's to come. For one, Ryan Parmeter, if you're going for Big Con, Big Orc, Konnor, man, we are excited for you. Thank you for giving us the time. This humble show, you gave us a shot to time off your weekend before you work out. We are humbled and we thank you. We hope you keep safe, keep washing those hands for 20 seconds, and just
That's
keep
right.
social distancing. And just God bless all the way. God bless all the way, sir.
Thank you for having me, and I want you all to stay safe out there. Okay.
We will, sir, and likewise. Thank you. Enjoy your workout and have a great Sunday ahead, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Enjoy your day. Thank
Take
you, sir.
care.
All right, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Hashtag PWOG Live, but one Ryan Parmeter, big underscore Con1 on Twitter and on Instagram. Go check him out. Check out his pro wrestling tees. It's crazy. That is crazy, man. Senorito, Tag Amigo, where you at, brother? We have to close this. We have to close this, brother. Alrighty. He's online. He's online. Thank you, underscore Ron WWE. Thank you, man, loyal viewer. Thank you, sir.
Yo, that was
Brother.
an amazing talk. That was a great time. That was a really really great time. I was pleasantly surprised. It was so fun. It was a lot of fun. Just him going back memory lane, talking about his time in WWE, and like he's just a really cool guy. Like everything. Like he was just having a blast. You were having a blast. Obviously, you couldn't get that smile. You couldn't keep that smile off your face, Ken.
Yes,
You were
sir.
fanboying the whole time, and that was just really cool to watch.
And it brought me back to memory lane as well, dude. Like when I was in high school, I was entertained by his matches, man. Legit. I
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
legit pissed with the freaking shirt not being on. The ya. Daniel Bryan had the
No,
yes and the no.
exactly. And the
Man.
Ya, like I was pleasantly surprised also. Like I remember watching the old Ascension matches, and then the Ya just became something that the whole NXT universe was keeping on chanting with them, and that's basically what made them like fan favorites also in the end. So yes, I hope that they get that Ya Ya shirt out on their pro wrestling tees. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know the story about he stopping for you when you were back in LA at the time. So I was pleasantly surprised. I don't think you told me that story.
I have never did because I wanted to confirm from him, but of course he won't remember that. Of course he won't
Of
remember
course,
that. But I
man.
just wanted to, maybe he remember because I did confirm he was in California at the time. They did have a show. They actually brought out Brock Lesnar for that show as a surprise. Actually, for the fans I saw on
Oh,
Instagram. But yeah, dude, that was like one crazy moment for me. It's like I wasn't
mm.
in Hollywood Boulevard. I was just near LA. I think when I say near, it's like 3 hour drive from LA.
It's like a suburb or something.
Yeah, dude, it was in front of a school. It was like very, it's like not empty lot, but like subdivision, just like
Yeah,
in paper
yeah,
towns. You know what? Picture this in your head, just like house in
yeah,
paper towns.
yeah. Like a suburb, like a for a place where people live.
Yeah, like
That's
that.
an awesome story. It was just really great, like seeing you guys talk about his old times and then just enjoying. So yeah, like kudos, brother.
Thank you,
Kudos.
sir. Thank you, and thank you to the Carl, man, the Carlski, the Broski, who's recording this right now,
Of
man.
course, we can't forget about the Carl, and of course, we can't forget about our pinned comment right
Hmm.
here. Please help our brave frontliners by ordering our PWR Mabuhay ang wrestling shirts on tickettome.net. So it's 500 pesos a shirt, and part of the proceeds will go to our frontliners helping the fight against COVID-19. The fight still rages on. We're still making sure that everyone's safe, keep social distancing, wash your hands, and of course, with the brave nurses, doctors, medical professionals who are putting their lives on the line, helping out all the good amigos and amigas, the Filipinos and Filipinas who are devastated by the COVID-19 pandemic. We gotta give them as much help as we need also.
Absolutely, you took the words right out of my mouth. Man, as long as that link is active, you can take a screenshot of it, press that more word, and just like take a screenshot of it, visit the website after. That's hashtag PWOG Live. It would mean a lot, not just for us, but for every Filipino who's serving everyone in the community right now to help us keep safe,
Yeah.
provide them personal protective equipment or PPE for their everyday lives. So that's crazy, man.
Yeah, and before we get into your reflection Sunday that you just remembered earlier this night, we
Tour.
have to talk about also PWR special homecoming is still available until July 31 for streaming. Visit streamsessions.live. It's only 500 pesos also. So make sure you buy your ticket, watch it, buy your code, and then watch it online video on demand. We do video on demand now, and just enjoy the biggest example, the biggest Philippine pro wrestling event of 2019, and enjoy and see what Philippine wrestling is. Of course, next week we also have PWR Wrestling from home, always every Tuesdays and Thursdays. Just make sure to watch out for that. And we just saw it drop earlier, the teaser for PWR before boot camp. So just watch out for that, amigos and amigas. For those who are interested in learning or like wanting to know what goes into PWR boot camp, that's going to be a series that you're going to watch out for. So make sure you stay tuned on that. On PWR's Facebook page also. Ken, do you have anything else to add? Anything else to plug on our own?
Oh yes, like if you missed this broadcast, sort of broadcast, or this episode, you can go to our respective YouTube channels. That's youtube.com/TheKenWarren. And for you, amigo, what's your YouTube channel?
Uh, YouTube.com/Senorito Jake De Leon, if I'm not mistaken. But like, just search Jake De Leon on YouTube. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna come out.
And of course, after this episode, it's going to be live immediately on IGTV without the comments. But if you want to
Yes.
exactly this episode with the comments, with the link to help our frontliners fighting COVID-19, check out the episode that's going to come out, or the rewind of this hashtag PWOG Live with one Ryan Parmeter or Konnor of the Ascension. So
And
yeah,
of course,
brother.
if anyone who is still watching this like right now and wants to have some guests on, please let them know about us. Let them know that if you want them to come on PWG Live and talk to a couple of Philippine wrestling OGs, let them know. Let them know because we definitely want some guests here. Anyway, I think it's time to go into Reflection Sunday, amigo.
Absolutely. I try to stall as much as I can.
We got 4 minutes left. We got 4 minutes left.
All right, I got this. I got this. So hashtag Reflection Sunday. Be in the moment because that's how you make the most out of everything in life.
Exactly. And amigo, this was a good night. We had a good weekend. We had a very busy weekend. You were on PW Wrestling Promote on Thursday. I was on Sobrang Late na on Friday. We had a PWG Live on Saturday and Sunday. It's time for us to take a break. We gotta get some rest. It's good that we're putting the work in, and of course, next week we'll be at it again, brother.
Absolutely. This is our life for now. For now.
For now.
We embrace this. We embrace the grind. We embrace the grind.
All right. And amigos and amigas who are joining us tonight, thank you again for watching. Thank you for joining us tonight for watching Victor. Thank you again to thank
Konnor.
you again to people who joined us for watching Konnor. And we'll see you again next week, amigos and amigas. Stay safe, wash your hands, practice social distancing, and we love you all. Good night.
Good night, and
Yeah,
y'all.
I'm sorry. All right, there you go.
Y'all, shout out quick to Peru 007. That's Rupert. That's the one in my IG stories earlier who want to help me jog for 20 minutes. Y'all can hashtag that. Pleasant Sundays,
Good night.
y'all.
Gotta end it, Ken.
Yes, I am. I got a smile.
Gotta end it.